West 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Our lead-in music sounds so ominous.
Yes, it does.
I don't know if it's appropriate for our next guest, because our next guest is a spirit, Robin. That's what I think. She's a loving spirit. When I looked at the book, The Critter Chronicles, for the first time, I thought to myself, this has got to be a lady who writes poetry. It's got to be a lady who writes songs. This has got to be one of those people who's just an artist in every way that a person can be an artist. And she probably wouldn't hurt a flea. And then I read the part about how she was trying to help these two little baby robins. I can't remember the whole story, but she was trying to feed them, and she was crushing up worms, and she couldn't even stand to crush up the worms.
I know. She loves the environment and the little critters.
It was very cool. I love this next segment. In the face of all of the bad news, we have some really sweet people out there. Celia Qynn has already proven to me that she's one of them with her book. I've only spoken to her just to get the pronunciation of her name. She spells her last name Qynn, if you want to look her up, and Celia is Selia. We'll make sure you get the information so you can look up her book and her on the internet. It does say in my paperwork here that she is a photographer. Kind of knew that from the book. She's a graphic designer. Could have figured that out. She's a poet and a singer-songwriter, which I guessed. She's an artisan. I guess that means artist, painter, a habitat steward. Well, that's not surprising, right?
No.
She's a nature lover, bird lover, and boy, what a beautiful book. It's called The Critter Chronicles, True Stories for the Inner Child. Wow, even the subtitle is in line with everything I've already come to know, even though I've never really met Celia Qynn. Good morning, Celia. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you.
You even have a sweet voice. Where are you?
I'm in Houston, Texas, at my kitchen table.
At your kitchen table. I bet you have a beautiful little home. Or do you have a big, gigantic home? Are you a rich lady?
No, it's a little home. I'm rich in a lot of ways, but not in the McMansion way at all.
But you're rich in the most important ways.
Well, I think so.
And I think that's what the book does for us. I think it makes us just smile. It is such a delightful book. So thank you for being on the air to talk about it with us.
Well, thank you for thinking so. I appreciate that.
You know, my grandmother would find a roach in the house, catch it with a napkin, and bring it outside. She would not kill it.
Yeah, they just keep getting back in that way.
Well, I thought of my grandmother when I read the part of the book where you didn't want to squish up the worms anymore for the birds.
Well, it's not because of compassion for the worm. I just think it's disgusting.
Well, that's pretty honest of you. Well, thank you for being on the air with us today. So tell me how the book came about. What was the idea, or did it make itself kind of on its own?
Well, it came about through just the things that I like to observe. And I have, being a singer-songwriter and playing music regularly, I had a mailing list that I would send out my notices of where I was playing. And I'd always try to share something that had happened in the garden with my group, just because an informational email is always kind of boring. So I always try to start it out with something fun, And they were very short, 1 or 2 or 3 lines at the most. And I just got a lot of feedback of, when are you going to write a book? So after 15 years of collecting these short missives, I decided to put a book together when I had 100. A lot of them were just titles, and then I, sat down to write the book. It took probably 6 months to flush everything out and get it all together.
And so were you tempted at all to do any of these as songs, or have you done them as songs?
Yes, I've done a couple of them as songs. Not ones that I play at a wine bar for sure, but ones that children might like, about bunnies with control issues that behave badly, I've got one about my goose, but not all of them are songs by any stretch.
So we feel like we got to know you. We feel like we've been to your house. We feel like if we were with you, it wouldn't be a surprise having coffee with you to find a duck walking past us. Is that, are we accurate?
Well, that's accurate, although my duck is not allowed in the house until the evening when he goes into his night cage, as we call it for him. But if you're outside, yes, the duck's going to follow you around. In fact, he wants to be in front so he can anticipate where you're going and lead you there.
So I went to a pond one time, and I had a bunch of ducks following me, and I thought, wow, I wonder what it is about me. I wonder what they like about me. And then somebody said, no, they just recognize you as a human being, and you might have bread.
That's right. They always want something. Well, Clifton's a little bit different. He's a self-appointed maitre d' of the garden. We call him the maitre duck. Mm-hmm. His life purpose is to figure out where you're going so he can lead you there.
I like your story about the goose and the stuffed tiger, and you have such a sense of humor that you wrote in there, maybe you'll move the tiger another 6 inches. So
just to mess with her poor little walnut-sized brain. Right?
Yeah, exactly. He's a real cat. He's going to get me.
We have a huge advantage over the listeners because they can't see the book. So our job is to show them the book on radio by talking about it. Let me start with, first of all, the writing is delightful. I'll have you fill in the blanks so that people know Selia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Celia Qynn. Okay. But I guess the audience needs to know it's a beautifully bound book, hardcover book. It's got lots of wonderful photographs in it, and the writing is as delightful as the photographs are. Are you the photographer also?
Yes. Yes, and I always try to document, if I see a critter chronicle developing before my eyes, if I'm lucky enough to have a camera with me, and now that I have an iPhone, of course, it's always in my back pocket. So I try to document it. But sometimes they happen so fast that you just can't get the camera, and in that case, I employ my graphic design skills, and I extrapolate with graphics what it must have looked like.
And you also have some photographs in there that aren't yours, and you give photographers credit.
Right. If there's a photograph of me, most likely my husband took it, that sort of thing.
You talk about the Anole lizards. We have them a lot. We have a lot of them here. The Anole?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're always on the screen porch where I live. And Robin and I are musicians, and we often will practice on the porch. And it almost looks like they're dancing. They'll do push-ups, and then they'll have sex. and they have no problem having sex on my screen. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking there must be there's something aphrodisiac about our music.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should choose that set list for other things.
but I mean, you have a way of, you said in the one story about the lizards, you said that you caught the lizard in a private moment because it was looking at himself in the mirror.
Oh, right. The mistaken identity leads to reptile dysfunction. That story, yeah. Yeah, he was confounded by his image in the mirror. He thought he had found a possible mate, and he was just, stupefied, really, by every time he made an overture, this image did the same thing back, and he just didn't quite know how to respond to that.
Do you know, do the lizards that have the big red thing that comes out, is that the male, or does the female have that thing too?
I really don't know.
Not sure.
I think it's just the male.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And they don't leave any poop. Have you ever noticed this?
Yeah.
This is like these.
No, they do. They do.
They do?
Actually.
I never see it.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I know is because I have 3 little anoles in a terrarium inside the house because my grandson wanted to catch them. And, it's not real messy, but I have to clean their cage once a week.
I guess I never noticed it.
You had something miraculous happen with the butterfly, and I just loved the photographs that you had.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that was really, it changed me inside in my psyche to have that happen. funny how somebody really smart said you can't observe something without changing it. And I think otherwise, too, that when you observe something, you're changed on the inside. And that's what happened to me with this butterfly journey.
Let's take a little break, and we'll be right back with Celia Qynn. Celia is the author of the book called The Critter Chronicles. We will do our best to make sure that you, the listener, knows what this book looks like, feels like, and is about. It is a delightful book. I'll just give you that, and it's not the kind of book you read cover to cover, although you could. This is more the kind of book you could flip through it and find another story. It's a very wonderful book, and you're a great writer, Celia. And I think your poet and songwriter skills, even though this isn't written in poetry form, but your ability to tell a story with a few words is typical of a songwriter, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, thanks. Thank you.
I think so. Let's take that break, and we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala. Let me push a button, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by MyFWC.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunny to partly cloudy today with a thunderstorm arriving in the afternoon inland, high of 91 to 96. Still a thunderstorm around this evening, otherwise partly cloudy tonight with a low of 73 to 76. Tomorrow and Sunday are going to stay the same, sunny to partly cloudy, with a shower thunderstorm spreading from near the coast to inland, high of 90 to 94 both days. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs. R&D Tactical Solutions, Ocala's indoor gun range. 12 climate-controlled, state-of-the-art lanes. R&D Tactical Solutions, full retail store, everything from firearms to CCW classes. Located next to the Supervisor of Elections. Open 9 to 7 weekdays, 9 to 5 Saturdays, and 10 to 4 Sundays. Call 622-7468. R&D Tactical Solutions, Ocala's indoor gun range. Call 622-7468.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
Now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock, let's return to Celia Qynn. She's a photographer, a graphic designer, poet, singer, songwriter, artisan, painter, and habitat steward. And this portion of AM Ocala Live is sponsored by Dr. Thomas Crowley. He is an eye doctor. He's a board-certified ophthalmologist, and he is at the Central Florida Eye Institute. He can do anything. They can do anything from simply checking your eyes for eyeglasses or perhaps to find out that you don't need eyeglasses, up to LASIK surgery, cataract surgery, corneal transplants, etc. The Central Florida Eye Institute is at 3133 Southwest 32nd Avenue, not too far from where we broadcast here at the mall. They are on the Sears side if you're looking for them as a landmark. 237-8400 is the phone number, 237-8400. Go to centralfloridaeye.com and you'll find out more about Central Florida Eye Institute. And thank Dr. Thomas Crowley for sponsoring AM Ocala Live. It means a lot to us, and it gives us a chance to speak to people like Celia Qynn. Her book is called The Critter Chronicles, True Stories for the Inner Child. Celia, before we talk about the book specifically, two things I want to tell you. First of all, I just sent you a friend request on Facebook.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So I want to be your friend. And I'm already able to see your backyard, your brick wall. It looks like a goose in the backyard or something. And the other thing I want to ask you about is this brochure that was tucked into the book about temporary housing. What is that?
Well, what I ended up doing kind of inadvertently, you might say, is I've been in this house for 21 years, and 10 years ago I bought the house next door because my neighbor was leaving and he was going to lease it, and I was afraid that some really big barking dog was going to move into that backyard, so I bought that house. And then 6 years ago I bought the house behind me, and then with Hurricane Ike taking down some of our fences, we decided to open the garden up, and then all of the surrounding houses became temporary rental spaces. And we've been renting to everybody from, cancer patients coming into town for treatment, people coming in, for whatever reason into Houston, but not really wanting to be in Houston. So we offer the alternative, because when you walk through the gate, you don't feel like you're in Houston.
Oh, wow. And these are beautiful shots in the house. So, okay, well, that's just an aside thing that you're doing. So you're entrepreneurial as well.
Well, I attribute it to not having very much adult supervision.
It says that your habitat is certified by the National Wildlife Foundation, and that you have a 12,000-gallon pond that features waterfalls and koi and just a wonderful habitat for birds and flowers.
Yes, and it's mostly for me, but I really get more joy out of it when I share it, so that's why.
So are you a whisperer? You know how they say a horse whisperer, a dog whisperer? Are you a person who can communicate with animals? I don't mean that in maybe the truest sense of communication, but is there something different about you than, for example, a lot of other people?
Well, I think it is, and I think it's pretty simple, is that I'm interested and I want to figure out what they're thinking, and I think that most of the time I do. It started as a child because my mother, being half Cherokee, gave me my Indian name when I was born because she said I cooed like a dove. So she named me Little Dove. And I think that probably sealed my fate. But I've always been drawn to small, wild things and always paid real close attention. And I think no matter if it's a person or another earthling, another creature, you can usually tap in if you really try.
And you really show that bonding form in your story about the dove and the egg.
Yeah. That was Woodstock who laid the. No, I know which story you're talking about was Flower, and he thought that I laid that egg because I snuck it to his nest with my hand.
Yeah, that was a wonderful story.
That's kind of funny. Let's see. The book. How many stories in the book? 100?
101 short stories.
101 short stories, and each story has a photograph that somehow goes along with it. And did they come together? Did you have to? How do you say this? Did you set up the photographs on purpose, or were they accidental, or how did that happen?
No, when the Critter Chronicles were actually occurring in the moment, sometimes I was able to take a picture. If I wasn't, then I went and recreated it so that I could get the picture. And if it was just impossible to recreate, like, for instance, the parakeet taking a diving leap onto the clear terrarium top, then I just had to do a graphic.
There's one picture you took of a bird hatching. It's still in the egg. That is such a cool shot.
Oh, yes. That was in the moment. The one hatching in my hand.
That is. What kind of bird is that?
That's a little button quail. Are you familiar with them?
No.
Mm-mm.
They're the tiniest little quail. I think they're Chinese painted quail is what they're called, and they're native to the prairies of China. And they lay the tiniest little eggs that little birds hatch out of, but they're not helpless like some birds. They're more like a chicken where they come out of the egg precocial. In other words, they know how to walk and eat, and really the only thing they need their parents for is to stay warm. And they're about the size of a popped kernel of popcorn, and they run around like crazy.
Wow.
They're the cutest things.
I like the fact that you say in your book that if animals or birds are in trouble, that they find you, and you had an amusing story about a bird that you accidentally pressure washed after saving him. That was funny.
Sparrow. Oh my gosh, yeah. I felt so bad about that. But go ahead.
No, I'm just in awe of this book. This is such a delightful book, and you have used your poetry skills in the book somewhat. Look at your long arm in this picture. Holy cow, boys!
Oh, the one about,
yeah.
The one about the trip to the grocery store. My grandson thought that I could command those birds. He saw some birds on the wire that were ringnecks, which my backyard is full of ringnecks. He goes, "Grandma, is that your bird?" And I said, I like to always seize the opportunity to stretch the imagination. So I said, "Well, yes, they are." And I rolled down my window and I said, "Go home." To which, amazingly, the bird flew off and his eyes bugged out. Some kind of a high influence to command these birds on the wire. He said, "They listen to you?" I said, "Well, they've heard me."
You didn't want to say no. You told him the truth.
Permanently impressed.
I really enjoy the flavor of the book. I mean, it just leaves a lot to the imagination, even though you have the pictures in there, because once you look at the pictures and read your words, you wonder what that particular animal or bird is going to do next. And I think that's a true testament to the gift that you're giving to everyone.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're a pretty grandma. You're a grandma. Look at these pictures.
She's hot.
Wow.
You can say.
All right. So you're in Houston. This would be an urban area, but there's nothing about this that looks urban. So there's a lot more animals in Houston than we might realize, huh?
There are animals in everyone's backyard, but they're not always thriving. But they're everywhere because we moved into their habitat.
Yeah. So do they find you? Like, are you an oasis for the animals? Do they say, finally a place I can live?
Well, yeah, and I have a secret. I put out food.
And water. You had a nice story about Tootsie.
Oh, Tootsie, the blue and gold macaw.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't really have a lot of hooked bills. I have mostly soft bills, and the difference for a non-bird person is that hooked bills are any kind of parrot, and soft bills are birds with straight beaks. And hooked bills generally have more of an edge on their personality. And so I'm not real drawn to them, but if I see one in distress like Tootsie was, of course I will take her in and foster home her. And then we finally found a sanctuary for her to go to after 6 months.
Are you a vegetarian?
No, I wish I was. I mean, and I don't mean to not take responsibility for this, but as long as there's square meat at the grocery store, I'll probably still be a carnivore. And, of course, I'm married to one, too, so I have to cook for him. But
yeah, well, us men, we're so hard to change, aren't we?
You're all carnivores.
Yeah. Celia, you are a delight. The book is beautiful, and good luck with it and everything you do. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us. Let me offer...
Thank you so much for the invite.
Oh, my goodness. Let me give the book away to a listener. Call me if you want this. You will love this one. I promise you. 622-9622 if you want the copy that was sent to us. Let me take that call, and then we'll find out how we can go buy it. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Oh, thank you. It's Lauren.
Lauren, you're going to love the book. It'll be waiting for you here, okay?
Thank you. And yes, I love the author and listen to her. And the best thing we could do is get at least one bird back and maintain it. And it's amazing what that does for the birds. So thank you to this author.
Thank you. I'm going to get a bird bath. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
All right. 30 seconds. We've got to give out the information. What's your website?
Selia.com with an S.
S as in Sam, ELIA.com. Easy, couldn't be any easier. And I found Celia real easy on Facebook, so if you want to be friends with her. Thank you, Celia. That was really wonderful.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
We'll be right back.
Mall Studios. This is WOCA. Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Fox News confirms the suspect in the South Carolina church shooting did confess to the shooting when questioned by authorities. Fox Radio's Evan Brown is in Charleston.
Roof will appear in a courtroom here this afternoon.